Squeegee and Ink podcast, episode 3, with James from Direct Print and Promotions UK. How are you? How's your day been?
I'm great, thank you. Very busy day, super hectic. How's yours been?
I was just a bit plagued by lots of technical difficulties, and it's ended up right up until here. So, did you say you wanted to? Did you want to quickly talk about your podcast idea?
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly why you're doing this. You're trying to put content out that just stays there forever, and we want to do the same. And there's no one doing a workwear type podcast. There's you guys doing the screen print. There's other guys trying to do it. There's no one doing the workwear stuff, which is our target market. Gilets and workwear, like I say, trousers, all that sort of stuff. And I think getting industry people on, maybe like our rep from Relawise on and asking about new products I think that'd go down great. But then I'm thinking, is it more industry type thing? So you'd be interested, but would our customers be interested? And that's sort of where I'm at with it. Do I do it? Do I not? I think I might just fucking go for it and just see how we.
Yeah, I would just have a really good bash at it. I know what you mean, because
you've got to think, like, our target customers are like businesses, and they might be in construction or automotive or whatever. Are they really going to be that bothered about? I don't know.
If the spin on it is not specifically workwear, if it's like the spin on it is branding for your business.
Yeah, a bit more generic rather than too. Yeah,
and then you just keep pulling it back to workwear and it being the most important thing.
Yeah. But it's great that you're doing this, though.
Oh, thanks.
It's great that you do this. It's a great idea. Yeah, the content and stuff you guys are doing is fantastic. Really good.
That's very kind.
Can I ask how, as a ratio, how much time do you spend printing and producing work, and how much time do you spend marketing and creating content?
There's been a huge shift in it because, do you know, like when this would probably be quite good content for the podcast, but it's kind of like,
oh, sorry,
it's fine. It's good. Yeah, should I just introduce you and then you can just ask me whatever? You just caught me there off guard. Oh, hi, James. So let's just go off that question, because you're saying that how much time do we spend creating content and how much actually producing?
Yeah, how much time do you actually spend doing work, printing and ordering and stuff, and how much time do you actually spend marketing and creating content?
I would say there's definitely pre-COVID and post.
Yeah.
So pre-COVID, it was probably up there with 85% of my time was doing normal studio stuff. So things like, ordering shirts, being on emails, physically printing, doing all the maintenance and all those types of things.
Cleaning and
everything. And then a small fraction of that was the marketing side, because I really, really enjoy it. But I think I'm different to you, because a lot of our products, like, I'm coming from a teaching background. So all I'm doing really is swapping my outlet from when I was teaching one-on-one into teaching online.
Yeah.
So I'm still kind of doing the similar work, but it's just what the platform is. But a lot of the time I did used to just video what I was doing at that point, didn't think about it very much. Whereas now it's quite preconceived in the way that we've got a YouTube video that we specifically want to make. And then we can print what we want, because it's just for our own brand. We don't have to wait for the customer job to fit in with the YouTube
to land in.
Yeah, I think that's quite the tricky bit.
Yeah, that's clever.
Yeah. So who does the Instagram and who does your social channels at the moment?
As of yesterday, let's say, it's always been myself when I've had time to do it, which I know is piss poor. But
I don't think your Instagram is piss poor at all. I think it's good.
It's all right, isn't it? I mean, we've got I think 1,500 followers, which is great. I've built that naturally over the last, 5-6 years. I've just employed a guy full time. I say employed. He was running our embroidery. So we've got 3 embroidery machines. He was running those. He's took to it like a duck to water. He's never done embroidery before. Done really well. and then sort of hinted at wanting to get more involved. So I took him off that, and I put him in literally in the driving seat of our digital marketing to literally do blogs, vlogs, social media, you name it. So he will be full-time. He sits, obviously he's not here now, he sits there at that desk behind me, and me and him together are putting a marketing plan in place, and we're going to really go for it. So we took on 2 new members of staff. I brought him into marketing, and I've took 2 new members of staff on as well, one to cover him and one to do sales. So it's like all systems go.
So really his value is much more important being a marketer at the moment rather than doing the embroidery, because do you feel like
I think so.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different personalities that can run an embroidery machine, but you need somebody very specific and tapped in to do marketing, don't you?
Tom, who's been doing our embroidery, we had a new website built, and he came to the meeting with us for that, and he was saying stuff that we were like, you know, how do you know about coding, and how do you know this and that? Very clever guy. And with my marketing knowledge, I've got all the ideas on paper. I don't have the time to facilitate them. So with me and Tom together, we're like a dream team. He knows how to do it all. He's did our first email today. He can do all the email marketing. He can create the blogs. He can do all that stuff. He's very clever at, like I say, coding and stuff. And he's got the time to do it because it'll be his full-time job. And I can just give him the ideas and say, right, a blog post about this, a vlog about this, come and video me doing this, post it on there, post it there. So I think that, touch wood, should work really well. So
really, you've kind of got the capacity already because you've moved premises into the bigger place.
Well, no, we're moving 1st of Feb. We were supposed to move in 1st of Jan, but with having 2 new members of staff and new premises, we just like, hang on a minute, it's way too much. So 1st of Feb is the big move.
Okay, and then you're just kind of like expanding into the space, and then you're like, right, I need this. And the next thing that you need to kind of bolster up is the marketing to
the marketing to then turn into the sales. Yeah, we need to bolster the marketing to increase the sales. To then warrant, you know, the space, we're going to grow into it, so we'll have more space for perhaps holding stock. I don't like holding stock, it's dead cash. But if it improves, as you know, lead times at the minute are shocking and stock appalling as well. So maybe hold some stock, but room for more machines and stuff, and more room to breathe, really.
Yeah, because it's quite hard to hold stock of, because I've been on your website and it's like, yeah, you've gone for that platform where you can pick what you want from the catalog live, basically, can't you?
Yeah.
It would be basically impossible to be that. You can't hold stock like that because the variables are too enormous.
You can't stock everything. No.
Do you mean like school uniforms and things, or?
So I mean, we were going to sort of have a page on our website which is like a express delivery page, and all that stuff on that page would be held in stock. Your high-vis vests in yellow, you know, black t-shirts, black polos, black beanies, perhaps some other colors and stuff as well. But this sort of, I mean, our target market is like workwear, industrial type logo uniform and stuff. So all the best-selling stuff, really, we're trying to hold a bit of that. Have a page on the website that is, you know, delivered in 3 days, 4 days, whatever, branded, and just see how we go, really. Not just spend thousands on stock and hope it sells, but just sort of dip our toe in the water a little bit. Because we've had this new website done, which is like fully e-commerce. It's built on Magento 2, so that's really exciting for us. We've never really done any sales online, so it's all to tie in with that, really.
Yeah. So how are you dealing with like minimum orders, and have you got minimum orders? Like, so for example, like in our studio, we've got minimum order of like 15 units of embroidery, 25 screen print. I mean, it's kind of like varied per thing. How do you, if someone comes to you with one item, how do you go about like guiding them on what to do with it?
We would usually say embroidery or vinyl print for the one-offs. We don't have any minimum order values at all. I don't know if you've seen on our website, we've got the club shop.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what is the club shop?
So let's say you were part of a dance school, or say you owned a dance school and you wanted your dance pupils to have gilets, hoodies, rucksacks, but you don't want to hold the stock because that's dead cash to you.
Yeah.
You would speak to us. We create you a website, your own web page on our website that you then send out to your pupils and say, look, you can get your merchandise off this website. You get a small cut for selling the merch. We mark that up, quite strong on the one-offs, because, as you know, to embroider one rucksack takes about the same time as it does to do 10 or 50, doesn't it? So the markup on the one-offs is a lot stronger. And then we literally we have to create the mock-ups and we have to create the web page. But once that's done, it sort of sits in the background, and then the dance schools or football clubs, the theatre companies, which is sort of how I got into this. The theatre companies might be doing a show. They might sell 30 hoodies. If we can do them in bulk, then great. But yeah, sometimes it means doing one of this logo, one of that. It can be quite a headache, but we sort of work around it. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. But I just don't know how other people deal with like one person coming, oh, I just want this one t-shirt just to see what this is going to look like, and then later I'll order more, and you're like, I know that, like, I don't know how to deal with
money
it.
buys houses type. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but I completely understand it with your club idea, because obviously they've got an audience
a bit different.
Yeah, they've kind of proven themselves, and you're not just going to give it to any club. It would probably be like semi-vetted, or you might suggest it to a pre-existing customer.
We learned quite quick, because we were like advertising it to everyone. We were saying, oh, just create a web shop, it's free. It takes us about 3 or 4 hours to like get it all done and dusted. And people were setting them up and they wouldn't sell anything. So we were like, it's like 4 hours wasted. So yeah, you've got to pre-vet people and make sure that they're legit. I mean, with you guys, obviously, you're predominantly just screen printing out. Man, you've got some transfer stuff as well, haven't you? I suppose it's just heat transfer for the one-offs, which is never the same, I appreciate, but
we don't do it. No one can have a one-off out of us. We're too I just can't deal with it.
It's catch-22, isn't it? You probably sell 30 t-shirts and then they'll go, oh, can I just get 2 more? And you go, no. Yeah, we're a bit afraid to say that, and maybe we should sort of grow a pair and start saying that.
Genuinely,
but,
the more I've said no, the better it's been, and it feels really wrong. Like, you can't be like, oh well, yeah, but you're getting rid of customers. How are you managing to do better? And I'm like, it's because I'm saying no, and then I'm picking the best
rubbish
ones.
You're cherry picking your most customers.
Yeah, because I had a trade kind of relationship with this reseller, print reseller, and he has huge contracts like Nando's and Oaxaca and all these big restaurant chains. So on the face of it, it sounded like a 16,000 unit order, and I'm like, yes, that will change so much for me. I'll be able to buy awesome heat presses. I'll do this. Priced it up, and then the jobs were coming in 10 units every single day, and then you're reacting to it. You don't know what time of day it's coming in. And then you're just reacting to it, and then you're like, oh, I could have done like 50 shirts today, but I've done like screen prints or something. So it's like a mirage.
All a learning curve, isn't it? Every day's a school day, isn't it?
Yeah. But you're really young to be a director of a company that employ. How many people do you employ? Like,
there's 9 of us now on the books.
Incredible.
So me and my dad started it from like a spare bedroom in their house when I was younger. I wasn't sure really what I wanted to do. I was looking at going down the down the professional theatre route. I was involved in amateur theatre and did it at college. My dad had previous businesses in mainly umbrellas and parasols, was what he did when he was sort of my age, and then through till middle-aged. He sort of stepped away from that and wanted to start things again. We started direct print, which was predominantly paper print at the time. So we were literally using, trade print and all those sorts of online, where you just buy the flyers and drop ship them. Then we realized we're getting too bogged down in the graphic design work, which no one ever wants to pay for. So, we got too heavily involved with that. So we started looking at promotional pens and that sort of thing. Again, just drop shipping. And then it sort of shifted to when I started saying to my dad, like, look, we could make more money if we had our own heat press or we had our own embroidery machine. And he was like, yeah, great idea. We invested in machinery. And then it's just evolved into predominantly workwear and some merchandise as well. But it's literally today is what 90% of what we do. So like all this strap line here,
so interesting.
Promotional products and even direct print. I think that's sort of had its day. I think we need, in the next 12 months, we'll be revamping, rebranding, so that I mean, like I say, predominantly what we do is workwear with a bit of merchandise as well. So
I was wondering. I was wondering how you got it, how your customers were amateur dramatics, but I suppose it's like what you come from is what you kind of like. You know people in the industry, and then you like.
So I was doing shows around Sheffield, theatre shows, musical theatre stuff, and then they'd be like, "Oh, we want some hoodies doing." I'd be like, "Yeah, I know someone that can do that." So I used to outsource them. I used to buy the hoodies from Rollowise, send them to a local embroiderer. They put the logo on, they put the name on, they put the print on the back. I'd put a small margin on, a couple of quid a hoodie, and they'd be like, "Oh, these are great." We kept doing that more and more. Other companies got involved around Sheffield. The Sheffield Amdram, I'm professional theatre scene in Sheffield is massive. Obviously got Crucible Lyceum, Sheffield City Hall and stuff. So it just grew from there really, and then we started picking up other theatre companies from around the UK, and that's sort of how we got into it. And like I say, bought an embroidery machine to cut out the supplier on that, and then we bought the vinyl cutter this year. Sorry, the start of probably about 12 months ago.
And you went in hard. That is a big bloody vinyl cutter. It's like you went like for a massive one, didn't you? From the videos that I've seen.
No, that's the Mamaki. That's not cutter, actually. It's
Jesus.
print.
Oh, okay. I was like, that thing is like the Rolls Royce of
it's 1.6, I think 1.6 meter, but it's only print only. Yeah.
Oh,
that's great though. Great for the heat transfers, mainly like solid stuff. You know, if you start weeding, it becomes it's not profitable, but that's good.
No. What was your role? What was your favorite? Because I did a little bit of amateur dramatics. What was your role like? What was your favorite like?
My favorite role's got to be Karatekas Pots in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, and we had a proper flying car. If you go to manaoperatic.com, look at the photos. That was a real production. That
manaoperatic.com. I think people who haven't done stage performance are missing out, because there's such fear and then excitement, and then there's like a whole buzz after it every single night. It's just so fun.
It's so good.
It's stressful, like, but in a good way.
It is. It's like being part of a sort of a football team. You've got a team of people on stage, then you've got your backstage people that are there, sort of in the wings. And if you look at the photos of that, that was an awesome show. I say it's amateur. The only reason it's called amateur is because we don't get paid to do it. Everything else that is on that stage, costumes, lights, scenery, the venue holds 2,000 people for a start. It's up there with like probably one of the biggest amateur societies in the UK.
Yeah, that's awesome. I've only done a little bit of pantos and stuff, but I was
I'm in panto at the minute. We're doing a panto.
Oh, you're doing a panto?
Yeah. I'm playing Muddles in Snow White at the Sheffield City Hall at the minute. So running this bad boy and we were doing 2 shows a day for like a week. We've luckily we're off until Friday evening. We're back on Friday, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday, and then we're done.
And then you have a party.
Crazy time. Party, and then back to work on Monday, start again.
It's good to have that though, away from the business, because it literally forces you to go and stop. I don't know how you are, but would you be there way past 5 or something?
7, 8 o'clock at night every night if I could. The only thing that distracts me is probably the pub. That's about it. The only thing to go, is to leave work for is probably a beer at the end of the day. But I'd be here a lot more if I didn't have the amateur dramatics thing. I think, like you say, it's good for me that, because if I didn't go to when I was doing the shows, if I don't go to the rehearsals, I'd probably just be going crazy here thinking I can do that, and you can always find things to do, and it's probably healthy that you don't just do work.
Especially with that marketing thing, because the marketing aspect of the business is a big black hole of you can never finish it. It's never ending. Yeah. I've found do you know how like you're getting him to do like a blog post and an email, but they actually do all like kind of spin into each other. So I think he'll find a really good stride when he gets going and does a few cycles of it, like the content that you're trying to push, and he does versions of it in all the different things. Are you going to get him on TikTok as well? Are you on TikTok?
I think so. Yeah. Well, we've got a TikTok account, and again, I've posted a couple of things on there. I'm going to give him complete access to everything. One thing he admitted is not fully au fait with social media. I don't think he's on social media himself, which is just not ideal, but it's not the end of the world either. We just want to be pushing valuable content, stuff that actually people will use and make use of, and not just crap. It wants to be, like you say, videos of, even like behind the scenes, as people love to see how things are made. So close-ups of the embroidery machines, how we thread them, how we embroider it. People even are amazed about how they frame up. To us, it's just simple. There's a frame, but everyone else is like, how do you not sew through both sides of the garment and stuff? And just stuff like that, I think, will gather momentum. It's just actually putting pen to paper and doing it, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. We even had it as, I don't know how, like, you might even, so when we employed someone, it was part of their literal job role to take a photo and a video of something that they're doing every day, because they have like different perspectives and literally different angles of how they're doing things. And it just like gives us little filler things to put on our stories. Or they might, one of the girls that we employed, she even did like a stop animation in her own time. We're like, holy shit, that's brilliant.
That's like, cool.
I don't know how long it took her, but that was an awesome post. It's like, okay, get back to work now. But
it's only 3 weeks.
Why haven't you done anything? I don't know. It's tricky.
How many people have you got there now?
Well, it's just me and him again. So we've moved.
You too?
Yeah, we're swaying in and out because
trying to find
because we're not doing the customer jobs as much. We're still doing like a few prime ones, but then we don't have the consistent like work of like counting shirts and getting this order out every single week. I definitely could get someone in to do the screens that I sell, but I think we've got a good balance at the moment. We've really tried hard with our scheduling and trying to figure out even like what we're working on in every part of the day. It's just so I don't know if we're ever going to get it perfect.
I don't think you will never get it perfect. We will never get it perfect. No one will ever get anything perfect. It's like the first email we sent out today, we were sat deliberating about this and that, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, just send it. Just send something. All right, make sure there's no spelling mistakes or stuff like that, but just send something, because you can always send something again tomorrow and the week after and at this time next year. Just sort of you've got to get going with stuff, haven't you, really?
Oh, so do you have like an email list that you haven't been emailing to?
Yeah, we've never sent I mean, we sent marketing emails years ago, but then we pulled the plug because we were never getting anything from it. What I've realized since is we were just sending a generic buy these pens email to everyone, where there might be like football clubs on there. There might be, so we're trying to segment the emails now. We're trying to send, more valuable content. So if they're like a charity or a school or industrial, we'll send industrial new work boots that have just come out. We'll send school leavers emails. Charities might be a special offer on pens or giveaways, or whatever. That's what we're looking at this year, is segmenting and being more targeted in the approach. We've only just sent out our first email to 700 emails today.
That'll grow like nothing else. Like that is, I think it's one of the most untapped resources for small businesses is their email list, because you literally can't help but read at least the title. You might chuck it. They might chuck it straight in the junk, but they would have read it, and at least you got into their box. I think text. I'm getting a lot of spam. I'm not getting very good quality information through the text marketing, but people are starting to use that as well, because people are even more likely.
Mobile. Really?
Yeah.
I've been getting a lot of those recently. Yeah.
I think they're apparently cheaper, but throughout our research, it's difficult because I don't want to do paid for adverts anymore. I've tried a couple of times with like Facebook, but it's just too difficult. You're like, you have to be on there for such a long period of time for Facebook to like help you out in the algorithm so that they know who your customers and how you're converting. And it costs so much money that you could have thrown 500 quid, and you're like, oh my God,
we've done the same. Yeah, we did the same on Facebook. I think we spent about 1,000 quid on ads for stuff. But then, since looking back, we sort of learned from it. We weren't targeting the right people. Facebook isn't really the media that our target market were probably using. They're not using Facebook. We're looking for, our ideal customer is like business owners or purchasing people, marketing managers, whatever. they're probably not on Facebook, they're more on LinkedIn. So, you know, we shifted it to, so again, it's something we're looking at this year, is to have a more targeted approach as to where our target market hang out and how do we sort of grab hold of them and catch them. Yeah, Facebook, cool. I think Facebook's dying. I mean, is it called metaverse now? I don't know.
Even Facebook don't want Facebook. They want
exactly. I've always called it face ache. I hate it, but yeah.
Yeah, I've never been literally everything I create just gets regurgitated automatically on there. I don't even know what our page looks like. It could be hacked ages ago. It's
circulating around.
Yeah, it could just be memes now or taken over. So it's cool that you work with your dad, because that's kind of like an inbuilt business mentor, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how that relationship works. Like my brother works with our dad and stuff, but so how does it work with like having two bosses in the company? Like, who is the boss?
My dad, and he would say the same thing. He would say, I'm the boss. We started this from like a spare bedroom in the house, but I think his intention was always to give it to me to, you know, it was to get me started, sort of thing. I think that was always his intention. And he comes in pretty much full time at the minute, but from working his arse off, they've got property in Spain and stuff. He spends a lot of time out there. So he's semi-retired, but when he's not in Spain, he'll be working for us, you know, and he just oversees operations, finances. He's constantly looking at trying to win new business and get new customers and stuff. So he's a bit of an all-rounder, really. My mum does our bookkeeper. She does all the chasing money in and stuff. Together they'll pay their wages and stuff. So it's a family affair, which works really well. We all get on really well. He's like my best mate, so it's great. It's a really good relationship that we have. It's fantastic.
Yeah, you're lucky you don't have to do all the financial shit. I was so bad at that.
I really should be more involved in that, but you know, I'm still running machines here and stuff, you know, which is part of why we took more staff on. But I need to get more involved in the financials and the getting customer side of the business rather than the operations and printing and issues. Like, we've had the white toner printer go down today. I'm like, got my head in there, and I'm like, I shouldn't be doing this.
Every second you're doing it, you're like, this is not my job. I know.
I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. Then you think, who else can do it? No one. That's my fault. I should have trained them how to do it. And then it's like, off you go.
Yeah.
It's all a learning curve, and you know, every day is a school day, like I say.
It's horrible, because the actual, like, if someone else was coming in, they'd be like, no, you're not allowed. Like, you have to, they would drop another one of your people in and get them to have a horrible panic and figure it out. But I know it's so, I haven't been able to send stuff out today. It's just because I had like this like software wasn't lining up and loads of stuff, and I had to wait for America to come into work so that he could hop my computer. And then you're like, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing.
There's always something, there's always an issue.
I always find this topic of like being somebody who's like in a trade and a craft, like screen print and embroidery and those like hands-on things. And it's like, the easiest thing to say is, oh yeah, but you shouldn't be in the worker role. You should be in like the business owner role. But it's like, training feels like a waste of time in the moment when you're trying to get the job done, but it's the most valuable thing. Like, how are you training your people? Are you doing it through manuals or just contact with you, or
through hands-on? Through literally, this is how you do this. This is how I would do it. I'm always open to ideas if you think there's a more efficient or a quicker way of do it. So I thought it was something at the door there. You know, I'm always open to ideas, but you know, if you're telling me you've got a better way of doing something, I want to see it, great. But if it's more time consuming, then why would you do it? But I'm more hands-on. Luckily, we've got Tom, who's been with us for 12 months coming up to, who has taken over a bit of the training of the embroidery of the new guy that started. But it's funny you touch on, like, my dad, who grew his previous businesses to very, very big sizes. He never knew how to run any machinery or anything like that. And then he always says to me what he thinks is great about myself is, I know every single aspect of this business. I can run any machine. I could literally do this all myself. I can't because
yeah,
I've
yeah,
not got the
yeah.
time.
Hypothesis.
But if someone was off ill tomorrow, anyone in this business, I could step in and do their role. He never knew how to do that, and he always said that was a bit like a hindrance to him, because if someone was off ill, well, that job doesn't go out, or that's late, or then you're trying to scrabble around trying to fix things that no one knows how to work it. So it's great to know how to do things, but training, and something again that we're going to focus on this year, training I think at least having at least 3 people within the business that know how to do every job, so that if someone's off ill and then they're off ill as well, having that third person they don't have to know how to do it super to a high standard, but okay, I can sort of run the embroidery machine a little bit, at least we get this job finished and then leave it or whatever. But yeah, hands-on. I mean, you guys are great at creating videos, but I just think getting in front of a machine and going, right, this is how you do it, and have a go.
So yeah, it's tricky again. It's like I was reading an article, I think it was like yesterday, and it was about what you just said, like having people so they've like trained in lots of different, a few different disciplines across the business. But it's like, I'm trying to figure out from other screen printers and people like us, how are they translating the skill of like printing, for example? Are they doing it through manuals? Are they doing it through literally one-to-one training, or are they doing it through videos, or like what is the best?
I don't think there is a best method, because everyone's different. I'm a hands-on guy. I only learn by doing something. I'm practical. It's probably why I'm in this profession. I love creating things, theatre. I love creating stuff like that, but creating products, creating a finished product, and I'm hands-on. Whereas you might prefer watching videos and taking that content in visually, or audio or whatever. So I don't think there's a best platform. It's finding out how you're supposed to.
But then it's like even harder, because then the next level is how like you get someone in and then you're like, what type of learner are you? Are you an audio learner, a visual learner? And you're like, I can't. So you've got to adapt your training to each person on their strengths. It's just endless. There isn't it's not like there isn't like a secret that
there's no answer. There is definitely no answer. There's a few answers, and it's how do they best learn? I suppose you should ask them at the first stage, like, are you a visual learner, or are you a hands-on, or whatever? If you're hands-on, then come down and see us or whatever. If you're visual or whatever, get on the YouTube channel and then come speak to us in a few weeks or whatever.
I think I love like listening to audiobooks and stuff, whereas
same.
Other people, they just completely clip off and they're like, shit, I haven't listened to the last 10 minutes. But
I've had people weird that can work, like email and do stuff and listen to a podcast. I cannot do that. I wish I could. I consume so much more content if I could. But when I'm working, it's music and I don't even listen to it. It's just background noise. But when I'm like running, or when I walk to work, or whatever, then I'm like, I'm tuned in. Can you do that? Can you listen to podcasts while you're trying to work? Or
no, but I can. I can't run without listening to one.
Exactly.
I don't even listen to music. I'm so sad. I'm like, nah, need something educational.
Music's shit these days anyway, isn't it? So
yeah. So like, I know you've done the website and you're moving soon, but are there any like changes that COVID forced upon you to like make that you actually thought, oh, actually it's good that I had that time, or thank God for that, because I would have never changed it otherwise?
Yes, COVID highlighted to us, and again, this is where the direct print name sort of came from. We were trying to do everything for everyone. So business cards, stickers, banners. We would sort of advertise ourselves as, if you can put a logo on it, we'll do it. And then COVID hit, and we were like looking at our profit margins, which were pretty crap, and COVID hit, and then sales dropped, and we were like, what are we doing here? Like, we're trying to do too much, the design for the paper stuff, blah, blah, blah. COVID hit, and the only thing that kept us busy was sort of, custom face masks, custom high-vis vests, soft shell jackets. People still needed uniform. We did a lot of uniforms for the COVID testing sites, things like that. So as soon as Rallowise and that were back open, I was onto them constantly, like, we need this, we need that. As soon as
How long was that? How long were they not open again? I've blocked it from my mind.
I honestly can't remember. That lockdown is a whirlwind. I was cycling into work and not a single car would pass me. I'd get in here, I'd print some dye sublimation face masks. I'd do some embroidery. I don't know, was it a few weeks? Was it a month?
I remember it happening, but I've blanked it. Sorry.
I remember it happening and thinking, this is like the shit hitting the proverbial, because
but no one needs to
fucking, if they're closed, we're closed.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just glad that, okay, I know it's like bad for your little chunk of your business, but the paper products thing going out is kind of like, I've wanted business cards to die for ages, and I feel like COVID have knocked them off. It's like
exactly.
killed them.
So that's what it highlighted to us, is we were trying to be too much to too many people. We didn't have a niche, we didn't have a unique selling point. So we've forgotten all that. We don't do paper print anymore. We'll do stickers because we've got them in Mackie. So we can do them if we don't go out there and say we're sticker printers. It's workwear and it's clothing and it's merchandise. We've dropped the banners, the paper print, and all the other stuff, because we're not pros at that sort of stuff. We are pros at embroidery, print, clothing, and some merchandise as well. That's what we're good at. So that's what I'd say COVID highlighted to us, is drop the stuff that you're not great at, focus in more and be good at one or a couple of things, rather than trying to be everything to everyone.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's kind of like before I started talking to you, I thought you were going to say, I didn't really know about the paper thing. I thought you were going to say, no, we're expanding our range because of all those products on the website, but actually you're coming in.
Now we're shrinking it down. See, on the website we used to have like paper, banners, stickers, like I say, everything, and it was just too much. It's too much to manage. It's too much to get on a website.
You don't know what the prices are off the top of your head. You're like, oh, I don't know what those on there. And you're like, you should.
Not only that,
kind of
like people bring you random stuff. Like, can we get a logo on this calculator? And you're like, we'll work it out. And by the time you've done all the setting up and we think we can do it, they're like, oh, we found someone else to do it now. And you're like, So now we're just very, like you sort of said earlier on, we're a bit blasé. And can I have 100 business cards? Sorry, no, that's not what we do. We're not the best for that. We know people we can recommend. We're workwear and merchandise. We're really good at that. Would you like any of that sort of thing?
Yeah, no, I think you're going to
work wonders.
I think you're going to do really well with the kind of like educational angle on it, because people just don't know. Like, I don't even know what the Ralawise catalogue consists of. There's stuff there that like crazy 3-ply jackets that's actually a fleece gilet and outer layer. They just don't. Your customers just don't know that those things exist, and they don't know the options there. It's like if you ask someone on the street, like, oh, name some t-shirts, they're just going to say Fruit of the Loom and Gildan. Exactly. you can say no. If you're a builder, you want, I don't know what your go-to ones are, but like
Port West or Regatta or stuff like that. Your higher quality stuff.
Yeah, or even Snickers. They're incredibly expensive.
Snickers, they're really dear. Yeah.
I've got my brother some Snickers builders trousers, and they're like 180 quid. I'm like, what is in these trousers?
But then you might sell an equivalent copy pair that might be 40 quid, but he'll probably have them for like half, if half, a quarter of the amount of time. And then it begs the question, well, it's like buy cheap, pay twice, whatever it's called. But
so are there customers that you haven't seen come back yet that you want? They have, or any that have like
there's a couple. There's a couple of businesses that are quite heavily on like events, trade shows and stuff that we'd like to come back, that are still holding back, I'd say. When the lockdown was announced, we saw, I think it's about £25,000 worth of orders just overnight just disappeared, and we were like, oh my god. And luckily some of those have come back, definitely not all of them, but mainly events and trade shows and stuff. They're still holding back and just waiting for, I suppose, more green lights, I suppose.
Yeah, it is tricky. But did you get any, I don't know if you kind of really did it, but it was more like in the very specific screen print niche, but we did a lot of like those self-isolation shirts and those kind of like fundraisery type ones.
Yeah, we did some printed mugs for the NHS. We did some pin badges that said National Hero Service. We did those as a little
that was it.
We did we did that as a completely, that was 100% for charity, and it was just something to keep me busy at the time. So we did that. What else did we do? We printed some isolation t-shirts, again, mainly through that like club store thing. So they were like vinyl. We didn't do any like bulk runs. But then through the sort of investment and money we got from the, you know, bounce back loans and all that, that's when we invested in the screen print equipment.
Okay.
So we spoke to the guys at Screen Print World. Nick looked after us, and yeah, we got the 4-color manual station, small dryer, flash dryer, all the equipment for cleaning down, because we never had screen print in house before.
Yeah.
So it was only 12 months ago that we got that. So while we were quiet, I mean, my dad used to screen print umbrellas when in his previous businesses, but he never knew how to do it. So it was all on my toes, watching your videos. Okay, so that's how we expose, and exposure calculators that we got from you and all that sort of stuff. It was, we used that downtime in lockdown, or coming out of lockdown when we were a bit quieter, to sort of, I mean, luckily we've got a guy he's screen printed in the past. Funnily enough, he's worked for my dad since the 80s, on and off. So he was the screen printer. He knew how to do it. We just didn't have the equipment. So it's like, okay, buy this, try this. And yeah, we've sort of got there by hook or by crook. Yeah.
Oh, that's really cool. Because screen print, there's nothing. I don't know if there's been another thing that I've got into about like garment decoration, or I think screen print's the most exciting because it's probably the most difficult and there's the most variables. And it's just like when you lift up the screen, there is still an element of like, oh yeah, that's really decent. And you know that it's all down to you. I
completely agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, the quality of your vinyl cutter, or, oh, I bought a Barradon embroidery machine. It's like, no.
The thing is with screen print, there's so many variables, and it's not just what press you've got. It's technique. It's, you know, your snap, your off contact. God, I mean, I'm not that into the screen print. I know how to do it, but like I say, it's the guys that run that. But yeah, I love how there's so many variables. There's now the water-based stuff, which is really becoming more easy to work with. These guys still hate it, but I'm like, well, I can't do an eco-friendly t-shirt with plastisol all over it. So yeah, there's always stuff to learn about it. There's always improvements and hacks. I noticed that was on your like list of stuff. Just constantly sort of adding little bits to, like you say, it's a buzz, isn't it, to be creating product. But yeah, it's nice.
Yeah. So like today we're planning a YouTube video, and we're just trying to do like puff print, and then we're like, hey, that's puffy enough. But then we're like, how puffy can we make this?
How puffy?
So we found it was like, it must be that big. It's enormous. We just like
the Michelin man, like a photo of the Michelin man or something on a t-shirt, like
yeah, I should do something more bold and yes, I should do that. That'll be a much better example video. This is just a logo. But I was like, no, we can go much lower on this mesh and we can hit it 5 times. And then it was like, it came out the dryer and it was like that.
Boom. Hitting the top of the dryer.
Yeah, exactly. So there's so many things like there's so many inks.
The puff stuff's come back in. I remember
everyone loves puff now.
Back in like the late 90s or whatever, it was quite big.
Yeah.
And then it's come back round, hasn't it? It just shows it's like one of those things. Crazy.
And in the sports industry, what's coming back? I've seen it when it comes from America, and then you can see it hit the UK. Oh no, not flock.
Not flock, no.
I used to do a lot of flock for one customer, but no, it was it's sportswear where it gets wet and sweaty and then it reveals. Yes. Wet reveal, and it's oh my god, that everyone thinks that's new, but it's not. It's actually quite old, but people are using it, and there are a lot of really good. I think it's because there's a lot of influencers in the sports industry now, so they're like using it. But like The Rock has used it a lot in his brand.
Have you used the see-through stuff? Yeah.
I mess around with them, all of them. I've got all of them.
Got it. Yeah. Is it hard to print? Because isn't it clear?
Yeah. So I've done it on like cottons. Yeah. It's not like what do you mean? You can't like see if you've done it properly.
That's what I mean. The ink is it's clear, isn't it? Isn't it like printing with water almost?
Yeah. And then there's one that's kind of like it's kind of like a creamy color, and then you can there's two. I think there's 2 different ones. There's one that you print it on and it kind of blocks what's underneath, and then when it gets wet, then it reveals, and then it goes clear when it's wet. And then there's the other way around where it gets darker when it's wet. I'm pretty sure, unless I've just got it all muddled in my head. But yeah, there's all the special effects. It's just so fun.
We do quite a lot of work with some local gyms, so we might have to try and promote that to them. That'd be quite a good little, have you seen this sort of thing?
Yeah, and the water-based inks, everyone like starts thinking that you can only use them on the cottons, but actually you can use them on the polyesters and all those types of things. You can even use them on like nylons, which sounds absolutely batshit, but it's the technology has gone crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really need to do more deep dive into it, because yeah, sometimes it's a bit off-putting because the context and when we're filming, then the ink dries. But I can print with water-based inks as long as everything's flowing and everyone leaves me alone.
Constantly. Keep it moving. Yeah. Don't. Yeah.
I am not picking up that phone. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, leave me alone. I know. So like, if you were like giving advice to somebody else who's trying to get into like garment decoration, what would you tell them to like get into? Or would there be like special bits of kit that you'd say these are the most lucrative, start off with those? Or
I think there's not one piece of kit I would suggest. I think the one thing I would say to someone starting out is have a clear USP, or have a clear niche as to who you want to serve. Because I think too many people, we did it, too many people start by, I mean, everyone buys branded clothing and branded products, don't they? Everyone buys them, whether it's personalized or whether it's for companies or whatever. But trying to serve everyone, you'll get really busy, but then you start letting people down. I think having a niche, ours was probably the musical theatre companies, doing hoodies and t-shirts. That was it. And focusing on them. Yes, we've sort of expanded since, but have a clear niche as to who you're going to approach, whether it's like sportswear, whether it's like you guys, whether it's high-end sort of retail screen printed stuff, whether it's workwear, which is probably us. Have a clear vision as to who you want to serve, who your target or your ideal customers are.
Instead of coming at it from a trade.
Yeah, because I think if you start off with that, it'll steer itself in the right direction. And then it'll become apparent that, okay, well, I need an embroidery machine if you're outsourcing embroidery or whatever, or I need that printer. That all sort of will work itself out, I suppose. I'm coming from more of a sales point of view, I suppose, rather than a manufacturing.
So you
Is that
really
the sort of answer you wanted? Or
I think so. I think that's brilliant, because it's kind of like, everyone, it's just like I'm thinking about like other people who've got into business that I know, and where they've gone wrong and where we've gone wrong. Like we signed up a few years ago. I can't remember how many years ago it was. We signed up to a franchise to sell like those digital products, because I was getting asked to do like business cards, digital products.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I saw that. Yeah, it was. I remember.
Nettle.
That was it. Yeah, Nettle.
Yeah. So what am I doing? I thought, oh, okay, I'm doing what it sounded like you did at one point, and you're going to different trade websites and you're white labeling.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh yeah, let's just put all of that segment of the business, maybe it's like a fifth, into one bundle as Nettle. And then they kind of roped us into like, oh, and then you can do web design. Well, we're like, well, we can do web design, but no, that's a big black hole of shit that I should be staying away from.
SEO, it's like, where does it stop? Then you want SEO, then they want, pay-per-click, and it's like, hang on a minute, we print t-shirts at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean?
I know, but I could have easily got sucked down that hole, and I had to push it. I had to, it was much better suited to another business in town. And I was like, the only way that I can get out of this contract,
speak to those guys,
I had to have someone else to put it on that it would be an advantage to them, because I don't like putting it on them to bring them down. I want them to do well. But it was, oh my god, thank god I got out of that. It was but you can get distracted. It's like loads of shiny shit at trade shows. Maybe we shouldn't be at trade shows anymore. They're too attractive.
I can't wait for the next one though. It's gonna be so good. I think having a year off, or was it 2 years? I don't know.
2 years.
Having that, having that time off has made us want it more. I don't know how you feel, but I want to go and see equipment. We've got members of staff here that they don't know what DTG is. They don't know what, so we want to go and show them these machines and products and meet like you. I don't think we've ever met before. Like we've spoken on bloody Instagram and all that. Have we met before? I can't remember. I don't
No, we haven't.
No,
but I feel like
I think I saw you at a trade show, or like your T-shirt or whatever on your back, and was like, "Oh, say hello to them." Turn around and you're gone. So it's just one of those things. We want to touch base with people like yourselves and just keep in contact with people and our suppliers, like a Maya and Target Transfers and all those people. We want to like say, "Ah, hey, how you doing? What's your new machines?" and show us this and be sold to. It'll be nice.
What do you think's going to be there like this year? And what's like? Can you see any
DTF.
like? Yeah, exactly. I was kind of leading you into it, but it was kind of like DTF's in, and do you like? I'm sure you used to do DTG, or it says it on your website that it's
we
an
never
option.
got into DTG. DTG never switched me on because it was just too. It's got to be running constantly, else it's you've got to re-clean it, and I was never sold by DTG at all. We looked at a Brother GTX and we're so close.
Yeah.
And my dad, being the business sort of brains behind the business, I suppose, was saying, you can print one T-shirt, you've got to be charging probably 30 quid a T-shirt. Who's going to pay that? And it was like, yeah, what are we doing? We can use trade DTG printers. We use Snuggle or whoever else out there. They're charging £3 a print. Just send them the shirts and let them do it. And while they're doing that,
waiting. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly the same thing. I was waiting for it every trade show. I was waiting for it to get that much better where it made sense.
If you're going to do it, you need a corner. And how much are they? £250,000. Again, you need to be churning out shitloads of T-shirts to warrant financing one or paying for one if you can afford it. So also DTG never got into it.
Also, not DTF, shitloads of T-shirts, shitloads of different design T-shirts.
Exactly, like, and then that's variable. More headache, isn't it? Then then you need the software to manage who's this order and what garment does it go on, and so headache central. The DTG, I think the DTF could be a lot more appealing because you can store the transfers, so you could overrun and hold them for our club shop where dance schools, etc., are ordering stuff. It's like great because we could run all the transfers off, park them for 6 months. I don't know what the shelf life is, but when we get an order, bang, heat press out the door. So for us, it's a lot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you can gang them up, So for us, DTF will be great to see at the trade show. I'm not saying we're going to get into it straight away because I don't think there's enough companies supplying the equipment yet. I'd like to see a few more come on board and nitpick, get the issues out of the way, if you know what I mean.
I don't know whether it ever makes sense in our scenario to get a DTF printer, but I can see it in yours. But,
I think for us it fits all right. I don't think we'll get into what I've heard a lot of is people that buy the DTF machines are setting up a secondary website that sells the transfers. Well, that's only going to drive the transfer prices down.
That's exactly.
Then your super colors and your Target Transfers are going to be like, shit, everyone's now selling transfers, so it makes you wonder if their business will still be around. But I'm sure they will. But we don't want to become a transfer selling company. We're workwear and merchandise, so
don't get sucked in.
Exactly. Don't try and become everything to everyone. We're going to try and just focus on, is it worth it for our customer base? If it is, great, we'll get it. Is it going to make us more money? Great. But if it doesn't serve our customers and serve us, then no, we probably won't get into it. And if there's all these people out there that have bought the machines and selling the transfers, well, we probably get them for pennies. We'll just buy the transfers as and when we need them.
Yeah, perfect. I'm glad you're coming at it from the say. I'm not like being mad. I'm sure I need to speak to someone who's made direct to garment work, because I feel like I've probably built up accidental prejudice around it. But it's just like alongside screen print. I need to find someone who uses a screen printer 50% and a DTG person 50%.
I don't know.
And then they
can
do like a proper. No,
I don't know anyone. All our local screen printers have never got into DTG because there's contract DTG people out there that can just knock them out for like a couple of quid. Not much hassle, not much stress. And I don't know DTG people that have ever got into screen print. I don't think the two mix at all.
Carillion has a DTG printer and he is a screen printer. So maybe I need to talk to Carillion about it.
Yeah, maybe. Is that one of those hybrid systems where the screen print the white and then DTG over the top now? Because they look quite clever, but I don't know.
They're insane.
Like big contract work. Yeah.
When I first saw one of those, I was like, well, that's me out of a job.
Yeah.
What's the point of me anymore? Anyway, let's hope. yeah, I'll keep my niche somehow. I don't know.
Exactly.
Just got to keep
that's what you got to
adapting.
do, and just focus on what you're good at. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's been awesome. Thank you. I love that you kind of come from it from like a broader business perspective.
I know. I was thinking this earlier. I was thinking because in fact I've not seen one of the videos, so I went on YouTube and was quickly watching it before we connected. I bet a lot of your followers will be like, oh, who's this guy like from it? But I think it's interesting to see things from a different perspective sometimes.
It's so important, like, because are we just tradespeople, or are we have to be business people? And I feel like profit's like a dirty word, but it's like, well, I have to be profitable so that I can stay here, so I can service you.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's not a dirty word. It's part of everything. And
it's not a dirty word at all. It's as long as you're not taking the piss. But like, you
never are.
Exactly. You're putting out a product, you're putting out a service, and as long as you're confident in the quality of that product and service, then you can almost charge what you want. As you know, it's only worth what someone's going to pay for it. But yeah, no, I think we shouldn't be scared of talking about profit and margin and stuff. Like you say, it's what keeps you going, isn't it? So
yeah, exactly. And it's the hardest bit that you're not really taught about, because anyone would just watch me. Like, I just feel like, well, maybe there is a side of YouTube about business finance, but I just haven't done my homework on that side. I've just I've just got into one philosophy and stuck to it with the profit first stuff.
Profit first, like, I started looking into that on your recommendation, but for us it just didn't quite fit with our business model. But I think it's a great concept and great for small businesses that are starting out as well. If you can implement it from the start, I think it's great. Yeah,
I think there's a lot of value there. Oh, that's awesome, James. Thank you. Yeah,
thanks for having me on, and hopefully see you at the trade show in February.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's next month. Yeah, I think I'll
It'd be good to see you, have a coffee, or at least just say hello. See
exactly.
Suppliers and whatnot, and cool.
Perfect. I'll send you your thumbnail. You've already got that was a really good picture. That's just already in your in the file, is it?
Yeah, I use that a lot. Back when I had hair and a bit of a beard. This is all gone for the panto. I'm just gonna have to come off again on Friday, tomorrow. But yeah, no, thank you. Thanks for having me on once again.
Well, maybe I'll catch you on a panto one day if I'm up north.
Oh yes, you will.
Oh no, can't do it. I pussied out. I couldn't do it.
Bottled it.
Yeah, bottled it. That's cool. So thanks, James. Yeah, I'll give you some emails, and hope you get your t-shirts as well from Buy Maggot.
Looking forward to getting them. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Problem.
Take care.
Okay.
Speak soon.
Cheers. Bye.
See you. Bye bye.